Tariffs are going up. Is this why some stocks are going down?
What's going on, y'all? This is just Stocks and Giggles, a show where we talk about stocks and have some fun doing it. I'm Bull.
And I'm Bear. We have a great episode for you all today. We are talking about tariffs, specifically the news that tariffs may be going up to 15% starting this week, according to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who said that there may be a 15% global tariff, which is up from the current 10% level. What are your thoughts on that, Bull?
I think over the past year and a half, we've had a lot of announcements related to tariffs. And I think if this was a year and a half ago, that probably would have been very big news. But right now, this sounds like another announcement of, a dozen we've had since this presidency started. So
So
what
just
about
like you
you?
think it's just a negotiation
I
tool.
think it's
You think it's
100% a
just another
negotiation
negotiation
tool.
tool.
But and I think what's not helping it as a negotiation tool is it doesn't seem like they're sticking to any of these things that they announce. And I think the term is taco. Trump always chickens out. Not calling him a chicken. I'm just saying that that's what the term
Yeah.
is. So what do you think?
Yeah, it is almost kind of like it's like we throw out these ridiculous numbers
Hmm.
and then we end up reeling it back, and it's just being used as a negotiation tool instead of, hey, this is the standard, and this is what we're gonna do to be able to accomplish whatever goals he has with this. So I agree, and we can. I mean, there's a lot we could talk about with tariffs, but why don't we start with how it's affecting the stock market? What effects do you think will happen if the tariffs do go up from 10 to 15%, whether it's in the short term or permanent?
So, I mean, to be honest, I don't know exactly how big of an impact that 5% will have, but we do know certain industries and sectors definitely want higher tariffs, and those are, domestic industries like, steel manufacturers or domestic energy producers. Companies like that obviously benefit from foreign, if Chinese steel is more expensive, then US steel is going to do better. And so those are companies that benefit. And then you and I have talked a little bit about companies that will, not necessarily lose, but tariffs may make it harder for them. And that's companies like pretty much companies relying on a lot of materials to build their products. So like car companies,
Yeah, like
airplane
yeah,
companies. Yeah, that
retailers.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A lot of people that rely on outsourcing, especially if they're bringing goods in, like retailers, like you said, auto manufacturers, and also I'm looking on Yahoo Finance right now, and it's saying that there's more than 2,000 companies, including well-known names like Costco and FedEx, that have filed lawsuits seeking refunds for the illegal tariffs they paid. So there's
Right.
companies like fighting against these tariffs that the tariffs are causing them to lose money, and they're fighting back. Do you think some of this stuff will have a impact, like these companies fighting back? Do you think they have a case to win it? Like, what do you think about all of that?
Oh, I have no idea whether there's a case to win it because I mean, who knows what the Department of Justice will do, but I do think that it kind of tells you that, these tariffs, even though a lot of times it's said, oh, this is for the benefit of the American economy, all of these companies clearly don't think so, which, like we said, there definitely are companies that'll benefit, but I think so many companies today are part of a global trade network where they don't want to see. So, I mentioned this before that at one point last year, Nintendo estimated that their Switch would double in price if, the tariffs were enacted. And, obviously they don't want that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, man. It's kind of there's a lot going on because it's kind of goes back to what you said with Taco. I don't really know like how this is all gonna play out. Like, I'm one who
Hmm.
thinks that I don't criticize the route of using tariffs as much as a lot of other people may, but I do think the way we're using it is it's not the best way, because it's just a fear tactic,
Yeah, it's less about economics
and I
and
think
more
people will
about,
start calling a bluff.
yeah. And I mean, countries already have, but I think it's become less about economics and more about geopolitics and like getting other countries to do certain things that America or Trump wants them to do.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I'm trying to see if we could find some companies that are supposedly that should be benefiting from tariffs that could potentially benefit because these companies protect U.S. producers from cheaper foreign imports. So like U.S. steel and metals,
Hmm.
there's Steel Dynamics, Nucor, also domestic mining and raw materials like
Hmm.
MP Materials. Also some like we talked about with the automotive companies with different supply chains. So that automotive I feel like could go either way
No, they're going to
because
be hurt.
you know yeah, they're actually gonna be hurt. Even though AI was saying it would help them, but I think they would actually
Well,
be
I
hurt. But
okay.
also we haven't mentioned.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
what you
guess
said?
I
What
was
you
going to
think?
say automotive could also be helped because foreign cars. It's going to be more expensive to make the car, but foreign cars will be more expensive to buy too. So who knows?
Yeah, exactly. It could go either way. One sector we haven't talked about though, I don't think it's the defense sector. So like
Hmm.
Lockheed Martin is a good example of this. They could potentially benefit from tariffs because of defense spending, because of different just tensions that happen, and defense spending could go up, especially with this war that's I don't know if the war is potentially starting now or if it's officially started. I don't know, but it's definitely a potential. I'll say that.
I mean, who knows if Russia's been at war for the past 3, 4 years, and they've still called it a special military operation. So who knows if we do something similar? But yeah, I think defense. So I think talking about the defense industry is really where like tariffs make sense. Like that's the type of industry you want to protect. You don't want, to be relying on other countries for your military hardware and all that stuff. So like definitely the type of industry you want to protect, but then there's other industries where it may just hurt the companies in that industry. For example, you said Costco or Walmart or any of these big retailers, like I don't know the percentage of their stuff that comes from foreign countries, but I bet it's way more than 50% of it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think. What about how do you feel about like a company like Tesla, who is an automotive company, but they're a little different than like General Motors because they're doing electric cars and they also heavily involved in the EV industry. How do you think tariffs could potentially affect them?
uh, I mean, they're more likely to help. Like, I think what I said earlier about the automotive industry might be a little wrong. Yeah, make it more expensive to make the cars, but I think, if you're making the cars here, that's kind of what this president wants. So if you have factories here or whatever, like, it's definitely going to be good for you. And Tesla definitely has a lot of factories in the US. So, but it's still going to be affected because they have global parts
Supply chains, yeah.
but their competition like Toyota, Hyundai, Volkswagen is going to get more expensive in the US. So it'll help Tesla in that sense. But then you have to think, what about retaliation? What about people in other countries now? They no longer want to buy a Tesla or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, I think overall we're both on the same page that like this is more of a short term for some company, and I honestly don't even think it'll be the tariffs that'll affect the stock as much as people's reaction to the tariffs
100%.
that'll affect the stock.
Yeah.
That's actually, and that happens a lot with news cycles. Maybe we should have a whole episode about news cycles and how it impacts the stock market, but that happens a lot.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, you saw last year, it was around March, around this time, the stock market went from, I think the S&P 500 dropped 20 or 25% when it was called Liberation Day first was announced with the tariffs. So yeah, that was an opportunity back then. The stock market's up 15% since then or something like that. Like so, or from where it was a year ago. So like long story short, these are just opportunities whenever there's this uncertainty and volatility. So what do you think about it all?
Yeah, same thing, man. I don't have much to add to that. I think you're right. It's just use this as an opportunity. I think in the long term, with the stock investments and our portfolios mainly technology, I think we will be perfectly fine. And I think that's a great place to finish off on the tariff discussion.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything else you want to close us out,
Yes, sir. That's all we have for you guys today. Thank you for joining us. And remember,
This is all just for stocks and giggles.